found, believe it or not, a replacement. The only downside is it also came with the entire remaining set, which would be great, except there's more hoses here than I know of on the car, which means there's hoses I can't see. So in addition to some of the other stuff that we have to button up to get the car done so we can get it out of the garage, this is what we're doing on today's episode.
There's not really any more. That's about it.
So there you guys can see there's hoses in there, and actually that's where the pump lives for the after run system, and that's for the cooling system that keeps circulating water. We're going to start by removing the intake manifold. So the only part we should really have to worry about doing in addition to that is we're going to have to do the intake manifold gaskets, which go at the bottom of the individual runners. But once we take that off, we can get to the actual after run system here. Most people delete it because I already bought a hose kit that includes it. I'm just going to replace them. With the hoses replaced, I really shouldn't have to worry about it. So we're going to start with that first. Alrighty, so after a lot of disassembly, as you guys can see, and we have already located the first hose we're going to be changing, and that's this one. And then the other one we're going to be doing is this one, back here. This is a breather hose, so we don't need to touch that. So we're going to go ahead and replace these hoses because my pump is still working just fine. Now, unfortunately, in the process, I broke one of these. Now, luckily, I do have some heater and vacuum hose, so I'm going to see if I've got something that fits over this. There we go.
One of the things Audi is known for is its notoriously failure-prone vacuum systems. There's a bunch of valves that control different functions on the engine that don't actually cause the engine to run better. They just control certain things attached to the engine. So what I'm doing now is replacing the four-way valve that's at the back, now that I have the intake manifold off and have easier access.
New gaskets, and we've already got these two hoses, which are the only hoses we needed to replace under here. We also went ahead and repaired the vacuum hoses that were here and the one that is back there. So that when we put the intake manifold back in here, it's good to go, as well as one of the breather tubes. This one did crack on us, so we'll take care of that one. And then this one didn't break, so we didn't have to mess with it. Now I'm seeing why people do the secondary air injection delete.
Now, while it did take me a second to realize that I may or may not have had the correct gaskets, only to find out that I actually had them backwards, but once we figured that out, I was able to go ahead and reassemble everything in possibly the most disorganized way imaginable.
Okay, so now the next thing we've got to work on is we're going to start swapping out hoses. So we have this one. This was our hose that's going to go passenger side. That's this one. Then we've got the other hose on the opposite side that has a little whirligig thing on it that comes out of the oil cooler. That's two. So we've got this little joiner piece. This is the one that connects the straight section that we made for the non-Y section to the upper pipe, which then goes to the reservoir. So we've got that here. And then the other one that's on the bottom that goes to the oil cooler, which I haven't taken off, is this one. So those are our four pipes. And then we've got the one that goes from the top to the reservoir. You guys can see it's that little question mark looking one. There you go, it attaches at the bottom. So that pipe is this one right here. There we go. There are our 5 pipes that we've got to replace.
Now with the other hoses done, the only ones left are the direct radiator hoses, which have very specific instructions.
But basically, to give you guys an idea of what you do with these, Do88 or Do88 made it really simple. So this is the factory hose. It's got these little couplers that attach to the block here and then to the radiator here. And here is where their hose kind of comes in as a replacement. So as you can see here, you just undo this clamp and then this hose attaches to that coupler and that attaches to the engine. On this one, you cut this plastic collar, just the top layer off, because that's the actual clamp that holds that rubber hose on. And then when you cut that off, you can remove this coupler. You take the Do88, put it on there with a clamp, and you're good to go.
Now, in order to do this setup, actually taking the little clamp off of the factory hose to then put the new hose on there and then clamp it on, that's easy. Now, the part that was going against my every fiber of my being was taking a hacksaw to the supposed part of my cooling hose that I was going to continue to use.
And so I should be able to do this. And yay! Let's see if we can get the rest of it off. Yes! We got it!
And the excitement overtook me so quickly that I just moved on to the other radiator hose, completely forgetting to actually record for you guys so you could see me attach it to the actual radiator. But the same execution on this one. We went ahead, cut the little coupling collar off, removed the factory hose, put on the new silicone hose from Do88, and then we can bolt everything back on.
All right, so we've got our first main hose down there. There's our hose, there's our pipe that we were able to get a hold of. And then we've got the second one up here, which since I got the one for the B5 S4, it's about 6 inches too short, so we'll have to rectify that. But that's on. We're in the process of getting the car put back together. And every light is on. Car's taking a second to stabilize. Well, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. We're going to put this thing back together. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming future videos. We're pretty much done here. I'm going to button up the car, but that's the boring part. Our new hose pipe is in, and the Do88 pipe kit worked perfectly. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you again so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Dale!